I want to grow my hair, LZ. What products can I apply? What hair growth oil on the market is gonna do it for me? Seriously? In 2026. And there's another set of people. Oh, it's just genetics. Some people just have hair and some people don't. Really? In big 2026, you're still thinking like this? Okay, so LZ, what exactly is hair growth about? Let's break it down in this video. Hi guys, you are welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time, I'm super excited that you stopped by. Please become a part of the family, click that subscribe button, and it's going to be just growth from then on. Okay, so let's hop into today's video. When you hear the growth in hair growth, what comes to your mind immediately? Do you think about farming and the process of, putting seeds in a soil and the application of manure to really help that soil, to produce what it's supposed to produce? Or do you think about it like the body's growth, where you feed the body and, just by virtue of you feeding the body good food, it grows? Now, there's nothing wrong with either of these two concepts, but each of these concepts is not complete. It's not holistic when you're talking about hair growth. Because when you look at it from the lens of feeding a child or feeding the body for it to grow, this is where the conversation of genetics then come into play, where it doesn't matter how much you feed a child. If a child doesn't have parents or genetics that say, okay, this child is going to be 6 feet, there's no amount of beans and calciums that is going to help that child become 6 feet. That's where a lot of people get stuck in their thinking about growth in terms of, general growth of the body, of growing a child. It's like, it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't have the genetics to have this particular thing, you're just not gonna have it. And this is why a lot of people die on the it's just genetics hill. And they are not wrong, but however, it's not complete. And I already really tried to cover the role of genetics in a particular video, which I'm going to link. And so you want to watch it if you haven't watched it. Then for the people who think about growth in terms of farming, and so they're always looking for the manure, the products to apply to the hair, to the scalp, to stimulate this growth, you need to understand that even in farming, this is how it works. The application of manure directly to the soil is simply to aerate the soil, to help it do what it is supposed to do. Manure doesn't help the soil do what it is not supposed to do. It just makes sure that nothing hinders what it is growing. Manure basically prevents the stuntness of growth. And this is exactly why products are useless to a lot of people, because very little factors that disturb hair growth can be fixed with products. Very few people actually need manure or products to help hair growth. The real problems of hair growth has very little to do with things that products can fix. How best then do we think about hair growth? Okay, so what else grows on your body that you also want to be in the best condition? The thing that comes to mind is your nails. Now think about that for a second. When you say, I want to grow my nails, what comes to mind? Do you think about the oil that you can buy, that you can apply, to your cuticles for the nail to grow? Do you think about the fact that, oh, it's just genetics, my nail doesn't grow? What comes to your mind is, as this nail is growing, I want to keep it. You don't think I want to grow my nails. You think I want to keep my nails. That is a very important switch of language that we really need to extend to hair growth. What comes to mind is, as this nail is growing, I want to keep it. You think I need to make sure that this nail doesn't break. You think I don't want to bite these nails anymore. You think I need to dip these nails. I need to dip my hands in water less often to make sure that this, growth is able to stand the test of time. That's what comes to mind when you're thinking about your nails. And this is the exact switch of language that I need for you to extend to your hair growth. It's really not a hair growth per se, because you can't really do anything to bring the hair out of your scalp. What you can do is that what is coming out must be kept. Hair growth is not a what products do I apply conversation. Hair growth is not a resigned to fate conversation of genetics. It is a deliberate and intentional process over a very good period of time, not a 7-day period, not even a 30-day period. And frankly, this is why it is not for everybody, because very few people think of it like this. That's why not everybody will have long hair. Not because they don't have the right products to use, not because they don't have the genetics, but because they have not figured out this exact set of practices that keeps the hair. Because just like your nails, your hair is always growing. Whether mine grows faster than yours, hair is always growing. Whether mine grows stronger than yours, just like nails, some people have stronger nails than some people, easily get nail breakage than some people. Whether or not, the thing is, nail is always growing. Same thing with your hair. The problem is that something breaks it off. You bite it off. You put it in water and it starts to chip off. You do a lot of manual labor and it breaks off. That is the exact same thing with hair. Hair is always growing. It's about half an inch of growth every month. So the point is, how do you keep every half that you get in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, such that by month 6, month 7, month 8, you are seeing an addition of another 3 inches, another 2 inches to your hair progressively for months, for years. And that is where we now say your hair is growing. But what you are really doing is that you have been keeping your hair length. You have been keeping your hair growth. I always try to make it clear by bringing out a tape rule and showing what half an inch really looks like. This is what half an inch looks like. So imagine the floor of your room right now, or the floor or your sink, and see those tiny bits and cuts that you see everywhere, and you just brush it off. This is what you get a whole month. Can you see that this is also what you break off every other time? So the point is, what is growing is not adding up. It is more like replacing. That is the problem. Hair growth is really a fight against breakage. Hair growth is actually hair retention. And I get it, hair retention is not fun. A lot of us want to slay our hair. Some of us even have places we have to show up to, work, camera. So it's one style or the other every other day. But I always say that it's either you let go of the desire to have long hair, or you do what is required to have long hair. There is no shortcut, not even with all the medications, minoxidil and whatnot that is trending right now. And we're going to cover medications very shortly in a soon to come video. But the truth is, there is no shortcut. So how do you really start? How do you really get into hair growth? Same with your nails. What breaks your nails? Water, contacts, force, all of those, all of the things that affects your nails. The problem is very few people know exactly what is breaking their hair. A lot of people, for instance, know that, if I don't wear a satin bonnet every night, there is the tendency that I'm going to, cause breakage to my hair. But that is just one thing out of 5 things that I personally list as the reason for breakage. There are still other 4 things that try to break your hair. So you're wearing a satin bonnet religiously, but that satin bonnet does not have any effect on the remaining 4 things that try to break your hair. They're really just preventing your hair from breakage from just one thing. There's still other factors. Very few people are aware of these other things that are actually trying to break your hair. And this is what I really try to break down and cover. Of course, it's a paid program because the things you're going to learn, trust me. And most importantly, the one thing that you can do that every factor that is trying to break your hair has nothing against. Like, this one thing can cover for all the things that are trying to break your hair, can protect your hair from all of them. So that is my own secret hack. It's really an open secret, but we don't pay attention to it. It's really going to open your eyes, and I almost guarantee you that if you follow through in 6 months, I mean, this is July already, we have exactly 6 months to the end of the year. In exactly 6 months, you're going to see such improvement in your hair. It's literally a guaranteed program for you. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to click on the link in the description box and join in today. The best part is the plan is actually currently half price. For some reason, I have refused to put it back to full price. So you really need to get in, because by the time I do, I really would have been very, very patient with the half price discounts that is going on. So you want to get in, very quickly. If you have any other questions, please ask me in the comment section as I continue this series on hair growth every other time. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.